Well, hello, folks out there in YouTube land. Got a big show lined up for you. Let's get right on into it. All right, yeah, analysts have come out and they've put some labels on some players, whether or not they're a contender or a pretender when it comes to the Heisman. Now, this video is not going to be for everybody. You know, we're talking about putting labels on folks as pretender or contender. So this may not be the best video for somebody that's a big believer in participation trophies. You know, if you think everybody ought to get a trophy just for showing up, it's probably best you put on your Gen C toboggan that you wear all year round, because nobody puts rules on you, which is incredibly brave. And find your safe space.
Everyone likes me and thinks I'm great in my safe space.
My safe space.
Yep. Now, for the rest of you that can handle a few things, we're going to get into this because this can be a little bit contentious. All right, so this is from Will Backus. He talks about the 2025 Heisman Trophy contenders, and we're going to talk all about it. He goes down a list. And as you can see here, he starts out with Garrett Nussmeier, who really, man, the guy's got a great arm. He really does. I am not thrilled with his ability to run. That's a problem. I'm not somebody that wants a throwing quarterback that sits in the pocket. Now, LSU fans really like him. I understand that. You know, he's a smart dude. He knows where to put the ball. But you went 8-4 last year with that, and he threw for over 4,000 yards. So, you know, how much is that really helping you? You know, you had a guy by the name of Jaden Daniels that was both, and that worked out pretty good for you. That ability of a quarterback to run is just invaluable nowadays. It just really is. Anyway, they've got him as a contender because he's going to put up gaudy numbers. And that's perfectly fine. Arch Manning, they've got him as a contender as well. So they think he's got a good shot. Now, we didn't get to see a ton of Arch Manning. When we did see him, he looked good. He also has the ability to run, which is huge. And obviously, he's got a pretty good lineage. I think he's probably going to be fine out there. And understand he's going to be surrounded by the very best athletes in the world. Texas spends the money. They get that money from somewhere. I'm not sure where.
Haven't you noticed? You got to be a man to play in my league.
But realize Texas had two $2 million quarterbacks last year, Quinn Ewers and Arch Manning. It's really hard for a team to have two multi-millionaire quarterbacks and one sitting on the bench. But Texas, because of money, was able to do that. And like I said, we didn't get to see a whole lot of him, but normally that wouldn't be the case. You can't afford that. But Texas has that luxury. Anyway, I'm fine with having him as a contender because now he's really going to be a redshirt sophomore, so he may look quite good next year. All right, Cade Klubnik. This guy, it seems like he's been playing for Clemson forever. He had a great year last year. He's a dual threat guy. He's got a lot of moxie. I kept wondering if this guy was ever going to live up to his five-star billing, but he's starting to. You know, had 36 touchdowns last year. Ran for like 7 touchdowns. I mean, he's a good quarterback. I could see him, you know, definitely being a contender. I don't think he'll win it, but he could be in New York. All right, here's a guy, Dante Moore, that we don't know a whole lot about. Played at UCLA. They put him as a pretender. He's going to be playing at Oregon. So, again, surrounded by great players. They've got tons of money at Oregon, the Nike money. He was a big-time recruit. Like I said, just played 1 year at UCLA. They got him there in Oregon. We just don't know. So I don't know whether he's a pretender or a contender. We just don't know. All right, next guy, Jeremiah Smith, wide receiver, Ohio State. Contender, no diggity, no doubt. Best freshman wide receiver I think I've ever seen in my life of watching college football. There's nothing he can't do. Caught 1,300 yards worth of passes. Looked ridiculous out there. Freak athlete. Great hands. Definitely a guy that's a contender. There's no doubt. I don't think anybody would question that. All right, Nico Iamaleava. Got him down as a pretender.
Oh, well, there's strikes 2 and 3 right there.
Yeah, that's frustrating. He has taken a lot of grief. And, you know, honestly, he probably just ought to use this as fuel for the fire because there's a lot of folks out there who don't believe in him. And part of it is it was his first year, very first year in college football, where he really got to play, redshirt freshman. and threw for 2,500 yards, 19 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. He didn't run a ton. He can run. You can see he's very fleet-footed. They could not afford to let him run because, number one, he's 6'6", and he only weighs about 215. Came into Tennessee at 195, and we didn't have a $2 million quarterback behind him like Arch Manning. We had a fifth-year senior preferred walk-on, Gaston Moore. He's a good dude, but we didn't have that luxury to let him go out there and just freewheel it. But I think you'll see him run more, and I think that'll free him up quite a bit. You also got to realize that Tennessee became more of a running team because that's what the defense allowed. The defense was giving us the run, and we took advantage of it in a major way. And the reason that is they're playing the 3-3-5, which I call the umbrella defense. What they're doing is they're going to open it up in the front and in the middle, and they're going to cover up the top end. So you can't throw the long passes, and we can't get all those big chunk touchdowns that we were getting under that Josh Heupel offense. They just decided to take that away and give us the run, and we grabbed it. Last year, Tennessee ran 584 times for 2,900 yards, a 5-yard average. You can see that right here. I've enlarged it. And threw the ball for about 2,900 yards. Also, Dylan Sampson ran for about 1,500 yards, even though he didn't play much in the last 2 games because he had pulled a hamstring, but he averaged 5.8 yards. And we scored about 36 points a game, which, with the changes in the rules, as far as the clock just runs all the time now, it doesn't stop when you get a first down. If you go out of bounds, they start it right back up. It's NFL rules, so obviously you're going to have about 10% less play. So 36 points this year is like 40 points a couple of years ago. So I really can't blame Tennessee for taking the run. It's right there in front of you. It's a gimme. Take the 5 yards. And it worked out pretty good. They went 10-2 and made the playoffs. So, it's not like it wasn't a good plan. Heupel's going to take what you're going to give him. But I think you're going to see a better Nico because here's the thing. The biggest jumps with quarterbacks are from year 1 to year 2. Most quarterbacks, almost all of them, they'll struggle a little bit that first year because everything's got to slow down for them. You hear that all the time in sports. It's a very real thing. Once you get that real playing time and that real experience, and then you have a whole offseason to look at all your film and put on another 20 pounds, he'll come back next year a different player. And that's going to happen with Arch Manning. That's going to happen with DJ Lagway, Lenore Sellers, a bunch of these quarterbacks that are we're going to have some quarterbacks that do incredible things next year. I think they're going to find that putting him down as a pretender is wrong. Wrong. Then they long shots, and we just talked about it. Lenore Sellers at South Carolina, this dude is no joke. Now, he is not as gifted with the arm talent that a Nico is or a DJ, but I'll tell you what he is gifted with, being 240 pounds and can run like the wind. You are not going to arm tackle this guy. You have no chance of that. And he is as elusive as anybody could be at that size. He reminds me of a Cam Newton, and that's a heck of a compliment. So look for him to be a definite possibility. He's the most fun quarterback to watch out there. He just is, because you never know what he's going to do. He may throw it right to the defense. He may throw the prettiest pass you ever saw. He may do a scramble you can't believe, but it's going to be entertaining. The next guy they've got as a possibility is DJ Lagway. Great arm strength, a lot of talent, threw a lot of interceptions last year. It was his very first year. He was a true freshman, so I give him even extra grace. He could be great. He played with a bum hamstring the last part of the season, and he still played well. And they finished 8-5 with the toughest schedule you could possibly imagine. So look for DJ. He could be a Heisman contender, no doubt. And it's his second year. Look for a big jump. Then they've got Sam Leavitt at Arizona State. This guy is no joke. Man, I'm telling you what a great player this guy is. Tons of moxie. And he's the guy that took the job from Jaden Rashada. You know, the guy that was promised $13 million from Florida. I wonder if he ever got his money. We need to find that out.
Where's my money? Where's my money? Yeah, you got money to pay for fake mustaches, huh?
Anyway, Sam Leavitt's awesome. He's a definite possibility. Ryan Williams, wide receiver at Alabama, another generational player. Did you know he was 17 last year? I didn't know if you knew that. Nobody had ever mentioned it. I found out about it the other day. That's breaking news, I guess. Anyway, he's a phenomenal athlete. he could definitely pop in there, wind up in New York. So anyway, I did want to cover that. An interesting article. You know, I'm not going to get my dander up too much on this. Look, Will Backus, he's got a job to do, put out articles. And if you put out one that says contender and pretender, half the people aren't going to be happy. But I think it's fuel for the fire. I really do. This should put a absolute burning desire for Nico to go out there and prove the detractors wrong. Say, oh, you don't think I'm any good? Watch this, which is probably what's going to happen. And for the Vols fans out there, it's been a good weekend. Baseball, they did the run rule on a Hofstra. Looked amazing, coming off a national championship. And the basketball team, man, we pulled out a victory against Vanderbilt. They had a guy that could just, he was like a magic man out there. He was just throwing it every which way he wanted to from 3 points, and it was just nothing but net. But we managed to win the game because of Zakai Ziegler. He had a great game second half anyway. Anyway, if you like this content, be sure to hit that like button. Let's me know continue to cover all these big college sports stories. If you've not subscribed, boom, 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 hit this little button right here. It won't cost you a dime. Help you get my videos. And right over here is the most recent video YouTube thinks you'll enjoy. We'll see you next time on Sports Talk J.
Goodbye, old friend. May the force be with you.